BK Academy of Chess presents The Evergreen Game, a famous chess game played between Adolf Anderssen and Jean Dufresne in 1852. Adolf Anderssen was one of the strongest players of his time, and was considered by many to be the world champion after winning the London 1851 tournament. Jean Dufresne was a popular author of chess books and was well respected as a master chess player. This was an informal game, like the immortal game. Wilhelm Steinitz later described the game as the evergreen in Anderssen's laurel wreath, thus giving this game its name, the Evergreen Game, making reference to the game as the forever young game. Now let's take a look at this game. It starts out with e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, the Italian game, bishop c5, b4, the Evans gambit, bishop takes b4, c3, bishop a5, d4, e takes d4, the Evans gambit, Pierce defense, and the opening continued as follows: 7. Castle, d3, queen b3, queen f6, e5, queen g6, rook e1, knight g, e7. This is all book theory. Here Anderssen played bishop a3. More common today is 11. Knight b, d2, castle, knight e4, d5, as played by the English Grandmaster, Conquest Stewart versus the Spanish Grandmaster, Marc Narciso Dublin, in 2002. Turning back to the Evergreen Game, let's take a look at this position. After bishop a3, black is up material with a far advanced pawn but is behind in development. Whereas, white's development is nearly complete and its pieces seem to be well posted and ready for action. So black offers to give back a pawn with 11. b5, to gain time in its development by opening up a diagonal for its bishop. And white accepts the offer with queen takes b5, adding pressure to black's highest ranked pawn. And black looks to take the added pressure off by attacking the queen with rook b8. White retreats with queen a4 while keeping an eye on black's bishop, among other things. White plays bishop b6, moving its bishop to a better diagonal, and much safer post but at the cost of time. White completes its development with knight b, d2, and black continues by developing its light-squared bishop with bishop b7. Now white starts attacking by first, advancing his knight to the center stage, while cutting off black's support to its highest-ranked pawn, with knight e4. So, in return, black doubles up on white's highest-ranked pawn with queen f5. But notice, as maneuvers are starting to take place on the battlefield, black's king is still stuck in the middle. After white takes the pawn with bishop takes d3, black has problems. Why can't black take the e-pawn? Pause the video if you need more time. Now black cannot castle, right? Not without the bishop and knight battery aim at black's queen, leading to a discovered attack with check. And for the same reason, black cannot capture the pawn. So black has to waste time with queen h5, to get its queen out of the line of fire of white's battery. Now that white's development is complete, has a strong hold in the center, and with its pieces well placed, it is time for action. Right? Well, today, play would probably continue with improving the position, tightening its grip on black until something pops. But back then, it was time to attack, hard and aggressive, and that's just what white does, starting with knight f6. Now what is white doing? Sacrificing its knight? Or maybe it's not a sacrifice. Pause the video to think about this. Okay. Let's continue. After g takes f6, and e takes f6, we see that it's not a sacrifice at all, because of white's discovered pin on black's knight. But was that a wise thing to do, given that this opens the g-file for black's rook to use with rook g8, pinning white's g-pawn which leaves the f3 knight hanging? So how should white continue? Careful. Do not touch the knight. Not yet anyways. White played rook a, d1. Though bishop e4, queen f4, and queen d1, were also playable. White has other plans for his queen, and is baiting black to play queen takes f3. Now white is ready to take the knight, but how? With the pawn, bishop, or rook? Watch out. Black is threatening checkmate. Now you see, white played rook takes e7. Now here's a good test. Black has 3 moves, which move leads to mate in 4. Pause the video to think about this. Black can sidestep with king d8 and king f8 or take the rook with knight takes e7. How would you play? Black played the worst move, knight takes e7. Black could have stayed in the game with king d8, but white still would have had the advantage. So how does this combination work? Here are some good advice on solving tactical combinations. Always start with the most forced moves. Checks, takes, and attacks, in that order. Also remember that black is threatening mate in 1. The answer is queen takes d7, so that when black plays king takes d7, white has a double check with bishop f5, and notice, whenever there's a double check, the king must move. There's no taking, blocking, or interfering with a double check. Remember that. Now the king only has 2 moves, king c6, leading to mate in 1, and with king e8, black has bishop d7, king f8, and mate with bishop takes e7, and that is how the game ended. Thanks for tuning into BK Academy of Chess, where together we build, and over the board we even the score.